Hello everyone, and welcome to Earth Archives. Have you ever heard of Spam? The name might sound like some kind of joke, but it's actually a canned food that has sold over 100 million units globally and has become a part of everyday diets in many countries, surviving through the changes of different eras. From the moment it was created, Spam was destined for something extraordinary. It was first introduced by the American company Hormel in 1937, just before World War II. At a time when food supplies were scarce, Spam quickly became a staple in households across America thanks to its long shelf life and convenient can-opening design. You can imagine that during wartime, soldiers and families in need of food saw Spam as a lifesaver, convenient, durable, and nutritious. No matter how you feel about Spam, its global influence is undeniable. From being a wartime essential to today's diverse culinary creation, it has proven itself to be more than just canned meat. It symbolizes a piece of history and emotion. Next time you see it on the supermarket shelf, try picking up a can. You might discover that this cold joke of a food actually holds a deep, hidden charm. From pork shoulder to canned food empire. In 1929, J. Hormel, an American businessman who had just returned from World War I, took over his father's Hormel Food Company. At that time, American eating habits were still heavily focused on pork and beef, especially pork, which was still sold in traditional ways. Whole pigs would often be hung in butcher shops, and customers would pick their own cuts of meat, with the butcher slicing it for them. While this method offered a variety of choices, it also led to a lot of waste. Cuts like pork shoulder, which weren't particularly popular, often went unsold and became leftover stock. However, J. Hormel was not content with the status quo. With his sharp business instincts, he recognized an opportunity. He began to wonder why these leftover pork cuts couldn't be creatively processed to avoid waste while providing consumers with an affordable and practical option. So he decided to buy large quantities of pork shoulder at a low price, chop it up, and process it into a canned product that could be stored for a long time. This idea not only lowered costs, but also made the less popular cuts tasty, opening up a whole new market. This innovation not only solved the problem of food waste, but also quickly responded to consumer demand. J. Hormel's canned product, carefully designed, used 6 basic ingredients: pork, rice, salt, sugar, water, potato starch, and most importantly, sodium nitrite. This sodium nitrite not only acted as an effective preservative, extending the shelf life of the canned product, but also gave the meat its appealing pink color, enhancing its overall appearance and making it stand out in the market. With the arrival of the Great Depression, American incomes plummeted and consumer purchasing power weakened. In this economic context, Spam, priced at just 40 cents and capable of long-term storage, became the go-to choice for many families. This canned food quickly gained traction and became a part of the daily diet. Not only was it affordable, but it was also easy to store, making it an ideal choice whether at home or on the go. Even during times of shortages, Spam remained reliably available and became a lifesaver for many households. A new name is born: Spam. Initially, the ham product launched by Hormel did not have a name that captured much attention. The earliest version of the ham was named Hormel Spiced Ham, a name that sounded ordinary and lacked any distinctive appeal, failing to make a lasting impression on consumers. Clearly, Hormel realized that relying solely on this unremarkable name wouldn't help the product stand out in a competitive market. Therefore, they decided to rename the product and involve customers in the process. In 1937, Hormel hosted a New Year's party and invited 65 guests to help come up with a name for the new product. During the party, each guest was given a slip of paper to write down their suggestion for the most fitting name, and each participant was also rewarded with a cocktail as a token of appreciation. This creative event immersed everyone in a fun and inspiring atmosphere, sparking a number of interesting name suggestions. In the end, it seemed that fate had a special favor for one particular name. This name did not come from any professional marketing expert, but from the brother of the company's vice president, an obscure second-rate actor. He wrote the word spam on a slip of paper, and the name was simple, easy to remember, and flowed smoothly, making it both fun and appealing. Most importantly, the name was easy to promote in the market, aligning well with the brand image Hormel wanted to create. As for the true meaning of the name spam, it has remained a long-standing mystery. Over the years, there have been various theories about its origin. Some believe it stands for special processed American meat, which seems to reasonably explain its usage and processing, providing a degree of credibility. Others joke that it is an abbreviation for spiced ham, a playful interpretation that vividly reflects the taste of the canned meat. Regardless of which explanation is true, both have their merits. However, as time passed, the real meaning of the name gradually became an unsolved mystery, and even Hormel has never provided a clear explanation for it. The lifeline food of war. The true rise to fame of spam undoubtedly came thanks to World War II. When the U.S. military became involved in the global conflict, the logistics department faced a massive challenge: how to provide high-calorie, easily stored and transported food to various battlefronts. On the battlefield, supply shortages became a serious problem, and soldiers' diets became a critical issue. In this context, spam, with its long shelf life, lightweight packaging, low price, and high energy content, quickly became a standard issue for the U.S. military, becoming one of the main food sources for soldiers. From 1941 to 1945, the U.S. military purchased approximately 200 million cans of spam. Spam was omnipresent, whether in the war-torn Ardennes forest in Western Europe, the scorching and arid deserts of North Africa, or the distant Pacific Islands. It appeared in U.S. military mess halls and became a regular fixture on every soldier's plate. Every day, spam was part of all three meals. In the morning, soldiers would fry it, for lunch they would bake it, and by dinner, spam pies became a standard menu item in the barracks. Spam not only became one of the symbols of the U.S. military, but also, to some extent, represented the connection between food and survival during the war. Its high-calorie content and ease of storage helped soldiers quickly replenish their energy to handle long periods of combat. However, the taste of spam didn't always leave the soldiers satisfied. Initially, soldiers were willing to accept this novel canned food, and some even eagerly opened cans to try it, finding it somewhat refreshing. But as time passed, the novelty wore off, and many soldiers began to view spam as a chore, becoming an unavoidable part of their military rations. Some soldiers even began jokingly using spam as a lubricant for their guns or a polish for their shoes. The pressure of war and the repetition of spam meals led to some negative feelings towards the food. At this point, Hormel decided to adjust spam's recipe, reducing the amount of pork and adding more starch to lower costs, producing a cheaper, inferior version of spam. This version of spam, however, became the main food source for many soldiers. Whether they liked it or not, spam remained a key part of their 3 meals a day. The globalization of spam. As the U.S. military carried spam across the globe, this canned food began to earn a place in other countries as well. With the progression of the war, spam not only became an essential logistical supply for the military, but also gradually gained acceptance in various nations, eventually becoming part of local culinary cultures. For example, during the Korean War, due to shortages of food and resources, the U.S. military sent large amounts of spam to Korea, making it one of the most important food supplies at the time. The local population gradually accepted this canned food, especially for families who had limited access to fresh ingredients. Spam became a staple in their daily meals. Over time, these cans were distributed widely among the Korean people, and spam began to integrate into local food culture, inspiring a variety of Korean creative dishes. Today, spam remains one of the most popular canned foods in Korea, giving rise to many local specialty dishes, such as the Wilson soup made primarily with spam, which has become a classic on Korean family tables. Spam is no longer just a canned food. It has become part of the Korean people's emotional connection, representing the continuity of history and the memories of the wartime period. A similar story unfolded in Hawaii, a U.S. territory far from the mainland, where Spam became deeply ingrained in the local culture. During World War II, the U.S. military shipped large quantities of Spam to Hawaii to address a protein shortage among the local population. Due to difficulties in sourcing fresh ingredients at the time, Spam became a common choice in the daily meals of residents. This not only changed the local eating habits, but also deeply rooted Spam in Hawaii's cultural identity. To this day, Hawaiians consume approximately 5 million pounds of Spam each year, and every May 2nd, a special day is dedicated to Spam, Spam Day. On this day, Hawaiians celebrate the historical and cultural value of Spam through a variety of creative dishes. For Hawaiians, Spam is no longer just a canned food. It has become a symbol of home, war, and unity. In Okinawa, Japan, Spam also has a significant presence. As one of the U.S. military bases, Okinawa's residents quickly adapted to this canned food, incorporating it into their daily lives. Okinawans created many local dishes centered around Spam, with the most iconic being Okinawa Goya Shampuru, a stir-fried dish made with Spam, local bittermelon, and other vegetables, offering a unique flavor that has become one of Okinawa's classic dishes. Okinawan Spam even uses locally produced pork, making it the cheapest Spam in the Japanese market. The locals' love for Spam is evident, and it has gradually become an indispensable part of Okinawan culture. The evolution of Spam in modern times. As time has passed, Spam has evolved from being a wartime food to becoming a globalized product, successfully transforming into a variety of flavors and new categories to meet the increasingly diverse market demands. What was once a staple in military rations has far surpassed its original function, entering the everyday dining tables of many households and becoming a classic delicacy cherished by consumers. Today, Spam comes in a wide range of flavors, from a classic original to more innovative and interesting options, including bacon, turkey, Mexican chili, garlic, black pepper, cheese, and many other flavors that can cater to nearly all tastes. Every new flavor release draws attention from consumers in different countries, especially in the Asian market, where Spam not only maintains its original taste, but also offers products that align with local culinary habits. For example, in Japan and South Korea, Spam introduced a teriyaki flavor, a savory option with rich sauce that successfully appeals to East Asian preferences for sweet and salty combinations. In Latin America, products like tocino Spam, which include smoky and sweet flavors, cater to the local love for barbecue tastes. Additionally, with the rising global awareness of health, Spam has started addressing the demand from the health-conscious market by launching low-fat and low-sodium versions, providing a more health-conscious option for consumers. While these new versions have attracted some health-conscious buyers, they have also sparked criticism from loyal fans. Some argue that Spam represents a carefree, indulgent form of enjoyment, where people should eat freely without worrying about calories or sodium, rather than turning it into a low-fat, low-sodium diet version. For these dedicated fans, the appeal of Spam lies in its pure, unapologetic decadence, and reducing the salt and fat seems to diminish the product's original distinctive flavor. Spam's cultural legacy. The history of Spam is not just about the success of a canned food. It also carries profound significance related to war, globalization, and cultural exchange. From becoming an indispensable food item on U.S. military tables during World War II to being found on dining tables worldwide today, Spam has evolved from merely being a source of sustenance to a cultural symbol that represents the memories of that era. Behind this canned food is a deeper conversation about food, war, and social change. Its creation reflects America's response to the challenges of food waste and the need for food reserves during the Great Depression and wartime, as well as the difficult environment of war and humanity's adaptability to survive. From military mess halls to countries like South Korea, Hawaii, and Japan, Spam has transcended its role as just a source of nutrition, becoming a shared cultural memory among people of different nations. In South Korea, it symbolizes post-war reconstruction and hope. In Hawaii, it has become an integral part of the local culinary culture. And in Okinawa, Japan, it has become an essential component of local cuisine. Spam's evolution and globalization also mirror the changing times. From a military supply item to the diverse range of products it is today, Spam has undergone innovations in flavor, adjustments in nutritional value, and even adaptations to meet the demands of the health market. While these changes have led to some criticism from longtime fans, there is no denying that Spam has left an indelible mark on global food history and has become a part of shared global culture. Whether you like it or not, Spam's story is undoubtedly a piece of history worth reflecting on. Its influence spans across the globe, and it continues to shape its image in an ever-changing world. This simple canned food still serves as a reminder that behind every food item, there is a story about war, culture, and human history. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss more fascinating stories. See you in the next episode.